We started here at Little Bit just under 2 years ago, and Xander, we were on the waiting list actually for about 2 years prior to that, and then started in July of 2009.
When we found Little Bit, we were one of the 2-year wait list kind of people, and so when we got the phone call that it was time to come and do the initial assessment, we were really excited. We weren't sure what to expect, we weren't sure how Aiden would react, and if it would be the right fit for us.
When Andrew came in at 2 years old, he had very little functional mobility. He was able to roll over and he would lie on his back and scoot with his feet.
But when he started riding with Steve, he was just 3 and just big enough to start really straddling the horse and riding on the horse, but he couldn't sit up at all.
Well, Xander is diagnosed with something called mitochondrial disease, and that affects his mitochondria in each cell. So the mitochondria is where the energy is produced.
The amount of energy that you need just to sustain life, to use your body, your muscles, to have core strength is highly important.
Aiden is nearly 8 years old, and he, like his brother, has Smith-Lemli-Opus, which is a genetic disorder, and that affects how his body creates cholesterol. And because of this disorder, he has a lot of developmental delays in many different areas.
I put him on the back of the horse and off they went, and all of a sudden I looked at Aiden, who was looking around at everything around him and sitting up a little straighter and not crying. I've never seen my son want to perform, want to engage, like when he's on the back of the horse with Sarah. Somehow that horse helps him to digest the rest of the world. And it just comes a little easier when he's on the back of the horse, and he becomes a person who's willing to look at you in the eye for long periods of time, which is so hard for him, and willing to communicate and willing to play games on the back of a horse because of all the people around him, but that constant movement and input to his body.
Xander's been riding consistently every week with Miss Sarah and has achieved some goals in his physical development that we honestly didn't think was possible.
It seems like every week he has something that he's progressed on. So he went from scooting to crawling with his belly dragging on the ground, to being able to crawl with his belly up, to doing somersaults, to climbing up on the furniture. And now, you wouldn't believe it, but now he's actually standing, not in a stander, but standing with someone helping to support him, and he's starting to use a walker to walk.
And since he started, Andrew's been able to improve his sitting ability so that he can sit up unsupported. Also been able to walk with the walker and walk with just one hand held.
This time last year, Aiden was working hard on remembering some of his signs. He was still needing some help, so he needed a lot of encouragement to, say, enter the barn or even look into a stall without becoming upset.
Last year at this time, Andrew was still needing some handhold assist to be able to walk, and was getting around with his walker and just starting to be really independent with that.
Well, I think one of the biggest areas that Aiden's made progress in is his self-regulation. He's also climbing upstairs with just a rail hold and climbing down steps with a rail hold.
And now Andrew's actually been able to walk independently on his own.
My son Xander has been riding at Little Bit for 2 to 3 years approximately, and I'm also a board member. So the relationships that I've made and continue to make at Little Bit are very important to me. It's truly what makes this place very, very special. It's great for those who ride, but it's also great for those of us who get to experience it because of what happens within these walls. My name is Martin Pierce, and Little Bit Therapeutic Riding Center is helping my son Xander learn how to walk.
1, 2, 3, 4. 5 steps.
It gets me every time when I say it out loud. He took his first steps about a week ago. Something that at almost the age of 7 was something that none of us ever dreamt would have happened, let alone after the surgery. And so we just keep continuing to push with the various therapies, whether it's hippotherapy or in the pool. And he keeps getting stronger and moving in the right direction, and that's all that really matters.